Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Now, today I'm going to do the full moon message and reading. It's 2 days early, more or less, but it's happening late Sunday night, early Sunday morning, like in the middle of the night. So I think this is the best time in case you want to get a proactive start on preparing your energy. So, with that being said, I will timestamp the message from the reading in the description box below and in the comments as well. All right. Full moon in Gemini, the sign of the twins, is happening on November 27th, 2023, of course, at 4:16 a.m. Today is November 25th, BT Dubs. This is the Beaver Moon. It's the third house of communication, which is ruled by Mercury. And this house rules how we communicate and connect with others, keeping in mind that that's not limited to verbal exchanges. Energy, in fact, transmits messages before and beyond words. This transit supports an intellectual reflection of our own internal dualities, the cognitive dissonance that may resonate as a resistance to a new realm of reality where heart and mind, spirit and truth harmoniously coexist, at least co-create at best. The invitation is to consider both sides, if not all sides, of the stories we have been prescribed and have subscribed to as truth in order to definitively derive a reality that we can wholeheartedly devote to. What is the truth of the matter of you is the truth of the matter with you. Mercury can support the processing of that intel with objectivity and grace. Jupiter, thanks to Sagittarius season, can help raise the perspective to an enlightened view of the big picture of you and your surroundings, as well as offering some optimism to temper any incitement for reaction or response. Temperance is key indeed, considering some of the other cosmic elements in play. For instance, the moon square Pisces, which is helping us to set and maybe even reaffirm healthy boundaries. The moon opposite Mars is helping temper energetic impulses, i.e., anger. The moon trine Pluto and also sextile Neptune may invoke some intense emotions that are either distorted by disturbing illusions or diffused by dreamy optimism. Pick your poison, pretty much. Any and all of this could trigger the shadows of the Sag Gem sister sign alignment to communicate without consideration of the message, the medium, or the receiver, let alone the impact afterwards. The full moon certainly calls for a release, particularly of any outdated information, ideals, and outright lies that have been disguised as truth. Yet, it may be keen to note that a psychic release is just as effective, if not more so, than a social one. Given the highly communicative vibration of this time, less is more, meaning you may actually want to say less, as the kids say. The inevitable ascension that gets to happen as a result of the process of releasing and receiving, respectively, can be acknowledged without announcement necessarily. As I said, energy communicates before and beyond words. The truth of your discoveries and your determinations from the inside out and the outside in will speak volumes through the way that you choose to live life moving forward. In fact, the message will be abundantly clear if you're lucky. Wink, wink. All that you'll get to do is be, and the truth of the matter will be clear to see. In the meantime, in between time, though, watch your words. Signed and signified by a bona fide Sagittarius. Okay, so that's me, a Sagittarius, telling you to watch your words. Emotions may be high, intel may be fast and vast, the intensity of the incitement to respond, react, or just communicate in general, to release, should I say, may be magnified. I can't say will, because this all depends on where these elements connect with your chart. But more or less, when it comes to the moon energies, it's a vibration that we're all in tune to in some way, shape, or form. So this is just my projection, my prescription of how you can prepare yourself, how you can govern yourself to ride the wave accordingly and be with the current and not pushing back against it, is most certainly the vibe when we're talking about full moon energy, where you should be releasing, reflecting, regenerating, and perhaps even resting altogether, as opposed to trying to be extremely proactive, let alone radioactive, on account of your discoveries. Okay, so let's ride the wave, be with the universe and not against it, and the universe will certainly work with you. All right. So without further ado, this is the full moon in Gemini reading. Okay. Let's cut the cards a few more times. Well, I mean, not by much. Another time or two. And see what we got here. Oh, judgment. Wow. Judgment came up yesterday. I'm going to take it out. Yeah, because, I mean, on account of the energy that I'm speaking of, what you may discover or determine, especially from an introspective perspective, may lead you to certain determinations and decisions about yourself, about your reality, about people, places, and things within that reality, their meaning, their placement, your connections, remembering that this is about connectivity and communication with the sign of Gemini. And as I said in the message, it's not just about what you express verbally. It's the energy that you transmit, and also how you transmute as well, like what you receive of the energies that are incoming and how you place them and determine, their meaning, So Judgment card is definitely in the right vein, I would say, where, I don't know, like I'm feeling like when Judgment is here, it's like it's already been determined, and perhaps it has been in some regard, and given we're in Sagittarius season, it's just the discovery of, it's the illumination of those determinations, maybe even the why, as to different actions that you've been guided to take, different boundaries you've been incited to make, decisions to associate or disassociate, connect or disconnect. That's kind of been a happening in spirit and in truth universally. And in some regards, it's been more spiritually incited than it necessarily has been a physical support for, in other words, like you almost didn't necessarily feel, you didn't really know the reasonings behind, the truth behind the reasonings, your reasonings for the actions that you were taking or the reactions and responses that you were making. And as I said, it's like the judgment call has already been made by you, and perhaps even from a more supreme source, and it's been filtered through you, transmitted through you. And now comes the understanding, the clear consciousness is what I hear, of why that was necessary and why it may be necessary to continue on in whatever determination you make at this point. Okay, and that means that your responses or reactions or actions in general could change on account of new discoveries, or just on account of the solidification of the revelations, so to speak. Good, bad, or indifferent, that change could be reflective of. but indeed it could incite a change in accordance with what has been, what ultimately has been, solidified in spirit and in truth. Like what's been the word that I'm looking for. I can't find the word. Affirmed. There it is. Affirmed and confirmed in spirit and in truth. You may double down on where you were, or you may lighten up. That determination is kind of up to you. But one thing's for sure, given we're in Sagittarius season, okay, which is already the truth seeker from a higher perspective, and Gemini new moon is inciting us to be even more curious about the facts and figures on account of, in reflection, their sister signs. So in reflection to that big perspective, we can even get even deeper into the smaller details that the two coming together at this moment of alignment will pretty much make the truth undeniable, is what I ultimately feel. It'll be very clear as to who, what, where, when, why, and maybe even how, although the how may still be left up to you. But the intel itself, the information, and your clarity with processing what comes to be revealed will all be sound. It'll be trustworthy more or less by what you are by what you connect to. And it'll be, now there are other elements in play, as I spoke of, because we have that sextile with Neptune and the trine to Pluto, so it'll be like very intense emotions, more or less. But the Neptune aspect of it all will more or less help almost soothe the intensity a bit. It could ramp it up depending on who you are. Like if you're not intentional about, letting truth have its way or reveal itself organically, then you could get swept away into your own illusions and delusions of what you rather submit to as truth, even in light of what's being naturally revealed. But it could also be the dreamy sensation of optimism that's just needed enough for you to not feel like what you're experiencing or what you're discovering is so serious to the point of hopelessness or to a detrimental response, where you feel incited again by those other aspects to respond in anger or express anger or some discontentment in a way that would ultimately be regretful, more or less, or something that you might not value as highly, say, in another week or so when aspects change. Just receive everything that's coming to you with a grain of salt and maybe a spoonful of sugar too. That's the Sagittarius and Neptune vibe. And know that everything is being revealed for the purposes of moving forward with the most clear perspective that the divine can possibly disseminate. Okay? You as the receiver get to determine how that information is, like this is the energy here. Like you get to decide how that information is put into play with the moon card here. And this is you waiting for the enlightenment or being open to the enlightenment. And this is the other side of deciding what to do with that information. With the Ten of Wands, it's like you may get quite a bit of, not only is this information, this is also an incitement to act or respond to some activity, So while you're in this position, as we all naturally are invited to be so, in a space of rest and rejuvenation and reflection. And when I say rest, of course, I just like to always say this so that people don't think I'm just like telling you to just go sit down somewhere all through a new moon. It's not that. It's just that full moons, but a new moon is more the initiation phase where you may be coming down from a high of something that you've already started, And it doesn't mean that you can't continue in that vein, for sure, but a lot of times we miss the opportunity to reflect upon our work and our progress so that we can make changes or, enhance our effectiveness, so that we're not just kind of spinning our wheels. The universe sets energies in motion for the transits are to kind of guide our energetic forces to help us to harness those powers for our good, to make us most productive, in a sense, with the current of the cosmic flow. And a lot of times when we're sometimes when we're kind of coming off of the high of the new moon and we're still, things are still set in motion, you may find yourself at an impasse that you want to barrel through because you've already kind of maintained a certain momentum, when in fact it just might be a moment to reflect, gather your intel, consider where the progress you've made at this point, so that you can power forward even more prosperously than you started in the first place, So it's like the checks and balances of our own energetic force, that if we are in alignment with it, as with the hangman, it's like he may look stuck and stagnant in this regard, but it's just when you know that there's more to be known, there's more to be revealed, and you almost have to, well, you don't have to, as I said, but you get to wait to receive that intel, maybe even that infusion of energetic force, enthusiasm, excitement, energy, understanding, passion, even a regeneration of your passion for whatever that project or purpose is, comes through when you're able to sit still or be in a still mindset to receive it. And then you can determine on the other end, based on what's revealed energetically, emotionally, otherwise, what can be laid to rest in this Ten of Wands, or what is your responsibility to carry on. The idea is to ultimately be working smarter, not harder, with universal support, So let's see, is there anything else I need to talk about here? We got the Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is some power surge that's coming through. And it's like, are you sitting down? Like, you would want to sit down for this, is what I'm feeling, because I'm even getting that with the Ten of Wands. It's in addition to what I said about deciding what gets to be released, because that's in line with new moon energy anyway, right? What gets to be released was still serving some purpose, and what isn't. What is of your responsibility? What is a passion that gets to persist? What doesn't? Eight of Swords into the 10 is telling me that this is an acceleration of like an energetic upgrade that's happening, that perhaps weren't really, your body has been preparing for it in some way, shape, or form. But to receive it in its totality is perhaps more than what could have been expected with this 10. And it is a completion, because it's bringing some type of wholeness, some culmination with the Judgment card. It's like, this is necessary to carry on, but how you carry it is important, because if you're not in a position, in the position to receive it holistically, as I spoke about in the message, really considering where mind and heart and mind are in alignment, having sifted out some untruths, some lies, some distortions in your force field that may obstruct this transmission, may make it more of a burden than a blessing. If you're still holding on, you're carrying this fresh load of energy that's inciting you to some new ambition, but it's almost like you're tagging it on with the load that you're already carrying, that of which perhaps doesn't even serve a purpose anymore. You know, it's like there's not really room to carry all the weight. You know, like bag lady, you gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags like that. I said nobody ever told you all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. Pack light. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yep, pack light, pack light. Don't take any more than what you are meant to carry in this season, because there's so much more that you about. It's like, you know, it's like overpacking for a journey. No, even more supreme than that. It's like when you're on your way to a new place, like say moving, you know, a new house, a new location, apartment, house, whatever it is. You're moving somewhere different, somewhere fresh, but you're still trying to carry all of the energy from the place that you're leaving. You know, you're trying to take all the towels, all the sheets, all the, you know, all, instead of purging what undoubtedly, you know, you probably have much little need for in this place, let alone to want to actually carry it into a new space. You try to carry all of that with you, and now you done overloaded your U-Haul and your energy to have to move it all into this place, only to get there and realize like, oh, I don't even really want all this stuff anymore, let alone need it. You know, like I want some new towels, I want fresh linens, I want new furniture. You know, me personally, I try not to carry but so much energy from place to place. Now, I haven't moved in a few years now, but when I move around, I always do a big purge. I purge all through the year anyway, but certainly when it's time to go, I eliminate as much baggage and extra energy, especially that is of no use anymore, as I possibly can. Because for me, the perspective is that in a new space, you want to create new energy. So you don't always want to carry the old into that, because it kind of taints the vibration a bit. Now, that may not have been the best example, but it could also be, if you're not moving, like it could be like going on vacation, and say perhaps you're taking all the towels, all your toiletries, all your, like everything that you feel like you gotta have, only to find out when you get to this place, maybe perhaps it's a luxury resort of sorts where the towels are much better than yours. You know, the toiletries are premium, you know, designer products that you don't even want to use what you bought, like the shampoo, the body wash, the lotion, things of that sort, which some places do have really nice stuff. The soap. They have slippers for you. You didn't even need to bring your own fresh slippers, a nice robe, and you didn't stuff yours in the bag. Like, you overloaded your suitcase. You had to pay extra when you could have probably just taken the carry-on and saved yourself the money, because most of what you brought along you don't even need. I think that's a better analogy than the home vibe, but you might relate to either one. The point of the matter is that these full moon energies are always helping us to release, you know, cyclically what we don't need anymore. Not even just on a grand scale or some big destination, perhaps as a move or a vacation, but all the time helping us to sift and filter the energy that's no longer serving us. And particularly this one, it's a matter of truth, the ideals and information that we've been prescribed to receive as truth, you know, more projectively, and also that we have subscribed to, whether it be about ourselves or about our surroundings, the world in general, on a large scale, on a small scale, whatever it may be. It's like engaging that reality in real time, and first of all, allowing spirit to almost reveal what is real to you uniquely, you know, and everybody's perception and perception and is that the word I want to use? Perspective and perception of that is going to be different. But for sure, it'll be profound, to say the least. You know, it's given this moon energy has popped up and under the Judgment card and under the Hangman. It's like something that you need to know in order for you to go forward, you know, for to make your journey a little bit more, maybe a little bit lighter, in the opposite of the moon, you know, that illumination and exposure, but definitely more lighter, more light and energetic force, so that you're not working so hard to carry on things that have been weighing you down, you know. And ultimately, what does that do but free you up to be more productive? And for whatever reason, productivity is key, you know, which is why you're being infused with this great surge of energy in the first place, because it's necessary to strengthen you and regenerate you for some next endeavor, some new position, some new role, to carry out, as I was saying before, whatever it is that you may have started in the previous season. Now it's giving you an extra boost of energy to carry that out into some into some fulfillment, or to some next level of fruition. And the moon card is just like you don't really, let's see, with the moon card, because it's that's like deep emotional energy as well too. But it's like bringing it's the culmination of those deep psyche revelations that were being discovered in the last season, but bringing it to a perspective where you can see it, and like you can see the revelation. It's not just the presence of that discovery underneath the surface. It's now you being able to see the effects of it in real time, not just on the reality that you've subscribed to, but actually on you and how you operate, how, you know, maybe perhaps what's been keeping you from operating at your most supremely functional level, what's been keeping you burdened and slowing you down from being even more productive and prosperous to this point, you know? So, all right, let me keep going. I feel like there's more to say. Yeah, and then here's the King of Swords, who definitely just, I mean, he fell down in the struggle position, but I don't think that's really what is where he is. I guess that's the question mark. You know, it's like you have the power now to create with, well, you will, you know, perhaps, especially throughout this transit, you'll have the information, the intel, even the ambition, the energy to create on site or on demand, let's say. But again, what current are you creating from is the question. And that's why he kind of came out like this, because it could be upright, it could be distorted, just depending on what you're trying to carry along and throughout that creativity, throughout that creative process, or at least in the next leg of the creative process. You know, this is the outcome. You know, this is the matter of the man, what he chooses to carry with him. You know, and it may be that all 10 wands are necessary, because that's just the burden and blessing of power that he bears, you know, certainly. But even with that, I would say that it becomes a lighter load, because there's an understanding with that responsibility now to know exactly why this load is due to you. To some, it may look like a struggle, but maybe perhaps to whomever is designated for, it's not. It's just their lot in life, and it's, you know, it is their blessing, as a matter of fact, that they're strong enough to withstand such a load, you know, to carry out such a great responsibility, you know, for to whom much is given, much is required type of energy, where, yeah, you are the King of Wands with unlimited creative potential And so there's a great responsibility attached to that. That could be another way to look at it as well. And maybe perhaps the perception of this load has been heavier than it needs to be because, well, I'll say the reception of this load and the acceptance of this load has been heavier than it needs to be because the perception of it has been distorted. There's been a misunderstanding as to why this is not only necessary, but designed and divined for whomever this individual may be. And I think that that's a great way to perceive, especially when we're talking about maybe uncovering some revelations of truth and lies and things that are coming to the surface. I feel like that's the synergy, with deep emotional incitement. There could be a discovery, or at least the affirmation perhaps of things already perceived, but now it being confirmed and affirmed, that could be a bit heavy, to it's like one thing to kind of perceive it, but it's one thing to know it without a doubt, for there to be evidence like this is absolutely what's true for me. This is why, to have all of the facts and figures laid out in front of you without, like I said, the truth being undeniable. And that could cause for a bit of an imbalance or an unsteady, instability, perhaps, maybe immobility in how to move forward based on all that's being unveiled. And I feel like this is a great synergy and a reminder that the King of Wands can transmute any energy into power. That's his force, that's his creativity. And with the right perspective, a clear perspective, no doubt, really devoid of right or wrong, but more so clear, is what lightens the load to be accepting of whatever truth is uncovered. Like I was saying, it's like it may come at you all at once and it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, this is like, you can't really contain or control this influx of whether it be communication, energy from the outside in. It could, it could even almost feel like a bit of an energetic attack to some degree that immobilizes you to make you, like I said, have to sit still and rest and rejuvenate and recover because it was just so astounding of an exchange in some way, shape, or form. But again, as I said, it's like I'm hearing like heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I don't really like that statement, to be honest, but I understand the duality of it. It's like you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot to carry. But you're equipped to do so because if you've been ordained as a king, then that means that you have the qualifications to carry out that role. So whatever has been given to you as the lot of your experiences is ultimately to be transmuted into some creative force that is not only going to be sustainable and perhaps even transcendent for yourself, it's also going to be transformative for someone else, because the king undoubtedly has some type of court or kingdom to govern, right? So that's the elevation of the revelation, if you're willing to perceive it as such. And I feel like that's where it comes, the determination of whether it's this way, this way or that way comes into play. It's because it's a matter of your decision to take what you have, what you've been given, and make something beautiful of it, Make it an attractive force, something that brings value to your life. Literally, World card, love it. That was almost this card, but that would be the adverse of seeing it turn back over. But I'm going to address it. Seeing life in regret and remorse for the things that you've incurred or encountered is not what grounds your position as a leader, as the King of Wands is, to lead effectively beyond your favorable and unfavorable experiences, to take the lot of all of them and lead with courage and confidence, and marching into walking into a new cycle of life with the World card, not repeating that energy of unfavorability, of dissatisfaction, I would say, but having a new perspective altogether, so that when you start something off fresh, like I was saying before, it's like when you go to that new home, it's altogether new. You know, like you're not sitting on the couch where you got bad memories from the last house, you know, and now you, every once in a while you're triggered to that memory here. It's like, why would you want to do that? You know, why would you want to bring an unfavorable vibe into a space that has unlimited potential and possibility? That's the King of Wands. He's unlimitedly creative. High potential for creativity to build things that are new. You know what I mean? Literally make something of nothing, or to take something and make it something altogether new. It's hard to do that when you're still vibing off of old frequencies. So that's why we're getting it with that Five of Cups card. We're getting to sift all that out right now. You know, really decide, like, does this have value anymore for me? Yeah, here's the master of that emotional process here. The total octave of the Five of Cups, which came up yesterday, as a matter of fact, it did. But this is like the internal conflict, you know. It could even be external conflict as well, too, that would want to obstruct this, this emotional and spiritual mastery, you know. But this could also be, like I was saying, like the different aspects of the other alignments that are in play, that where you're doing this sifting and this releasing and this acceptance of the revelation. It could incite a little bit of anger, a little bit of angst, a little bit of, to feel agitated, to want to respond in some aggressive way. You know, I would say to try to resist that urge as much as possible. See it gracefully as just, you know, the ego trying to incite some spirit of protection over that emotional current that you're feeling, that you want to act and respond in some way, whether it be to say something to somebody or say something out loud socially, or to, I don't know, like even to speak negatively against yourself in some way, shape, or form, to beat yourself down is what I'm also hearing with this Five of Wands. I would refrain from that, because in this regard, that level of confusion is not going to add value to the process of mastering your emotional intelligence. It's only going to complicate things more, or supercharge, which this is like Scorpio energy, which is already intense as it is. It don't need to be supercharged no more than what it just organically gets to be, you know. So the information itself might be charged in a way that is, I don't know, like it's a challenge to digest, you know, because it's so intense, it's so raw, perhaps in some ways almost like unbelievable is what I feel, you know, like it's hard to digest. But like I was saying before, it's like the truth that's being revealed is not one that you can really suppress, you know, it's undeniable. So imagine the intensity of such a revelation, and it, you know, there's no room for denial, you know, like you can't elude yourself into believing that it could be this, it could be that. It's just like straight up smack dab in your face, like kind of the energy of Sagittarius and Gemini, like I was saying in the moon message, where sometimes the communication is just bold and without, you know, filter type of vibe, you know, not really thinking of the impact that it makes. I feel like that's the force that's being prepared for. Like, the truth is just the truth. It's not really much you can do to soften that blow. If it feels unfavorable, it is, it's going to make that impact, on, it's going to make that impression on impact depending on how this energy hits your chart. But the key is not to be incited to respond impulsively or compulsively, because that's not going to change. I think what I'm trying to get to is it's not going to change the nature of the revelation. It's still going to be what it is. And if you can almost prepare yourself that what it is for your good, one way or another, at least the reveal of it all, the knowing of it all is better than not knowing at all, then you can almost kind of steady yourself emotionally, like ground your emotions and secure yourself to be tempered, not to respond irrationally, is what I think I'm getting at, because that's what these energies is, like irrational emotional response and reaction, and that's not going to carry over well. It's not going to age well in your new world experience. And whatever the information that's happening, when we're talking about the Judgment card, we're talking about the moon and something being revealed that was once hidden. We're talking about the World card, beginning a new cycle, closing something very big. As a matter of fact, the revelation and affirmation of your revelations is to close this, bring you final closure. That's what it is, to what's either been lying dormant or just been unaffirmed in your being for a long time. Or perhaps, like I said, dispelling lies and mysteries altogether. Is to bring a closure to your identity as it was known, so that you can reimagine the new aspect of you in this more, in this autonomous position of creativity, so that your creations don't have that same currency of what is illusionary, if that makes sense. Like, you're not building a home, building a foundation with faulty information about yourself or otherwise, So it is definitely more productive of a perspective to know that no matter how unsavory or unfavorable the information may be, the discovery may be, the point of it all is to help you to be a better you, to help you be the you that you ultimately were designed to be, and that in your heart of hearts, in that heart and mind alignment, what you ultimately desire to be. Everything else has kind of been a distortion, more or less, in some ways unbeknownst to you, but also in some ways that you fell in alignment with and were in co-creativity with. Yeah, and here's the imbalance here, the decision process, really balancing that your emotional reactions, so that you don't lose the value of this process as it is for what it's doing for you, and actually, kind of shortchange yourself in the evolution of it all. I hope this makes sense, because I feel like it feels weird. It feels weird. I'm gonna take a few more. All right, yeah, there's the Justice card. Here's you perhaps being decided to walk away or abandon some, like I was saying before, it's like what you do with the information is up to you. You may double down on where you were already, or it may incite you to do something completely different, going in a completely different direction, a whole new location, uproot your whole life, or at least your ideals about life, and find faith in some other possibility of satisfaction. Because with the Eight of Cups, you don't even necessarily know what you're about to go seek and find, but you just know that there has to be a greater promise elsewhere than where you are. There's a dissatisfaction here. And even that is justified with the Justice card. You know, it's like you are well within your rights to some degree to make that decision, to make that discernment. You know, you're well within your rights to even feel however you feel about what you discover or what is revealed. Just know that you're also well within your own responsibility as to what impact that response and reaction makes. You know, you can allow it to make you or break you. You can pack light or carry a heavy load. You know, it really is up to you. I'll say that off the fringe, someone that's taken a heap of resentment and anger and unforgiveness and guilt, shame, or anything of the sort from whatever has been affirmed or uncovered is going to find himself having a hard time finding satisfaction elsewhere, because wherever you go, there you are, right? So all these wands, all this energy comes along with you, even if you move to a completely different state, a completely different country, without having released the energy that incited the move in the first place. You may be carrying that vibration right along with you. So as I said, like, you're well within your rights to do as you wish, but if you're going to go look for satisfaction elsewhere, for sanctity, or, you know, I don't know, like looking for fulfillment elsewhere, it's most important that you find that fulfillment within your own internal being first and foremost. You gotta know why you are the way you are, why you do what you do, why you feel the way that you feel. It's important to embrace and accept that reality for what it is, so that you can actively create something different aside from what you no longer desire, whether you're here, there, or anywhere. You know, it's a cause and effect type of situation where whatever you invest is ultimately what you're going to receive. And also, I would like to say that, that's nice, the Star card. And I would also like to say that whatever you feel has been unjustified is already taken care of. There's really not much that you know, like say you find out something that you feel is unfair that happened to you, or that, you know, that you weren't aware of, or something. There was some imbalance in your experience. The judgment, particularly the revelation unto you to know the truth, is justified in itself. That is the justice. Sometimes the revelation is the justice, regardless of what gets to happen one way or another to rectify that experience. Now, of course, as with the Justice card and judgment leading to top, that karma don't miss, you know what I mean? So if you feel like something was done unjustifiably, more than likely, whomever has to answer for that perpetration will do so according to divine order. But again, you have the choice as to whether or not that becomes your burden of focus or not. And sometimes that can also slow down a journey or load you, weigh you down more than you necessarily want or need to be for your new beginning, because you're worried about how things will be rectified, in your previous life or previous experience. You got to kind of allow the spirit to take care of all. And also, if you have the intention to see it as it working for something good, as something good for you, having led you to this place of ultimately the star, your own healing, your own destiny, being clear about the design that's been divine to you is a gift in itself, right? Not everybody is privy to that acknowledgement and that assurance, blessed assurance, dare I say, with the Star card. So that is justified as well of a reward and a reaction to whatever may have been incurred, because had it not been for everything that's been experienced, good, bad, or indifferent, your trajectory might look a little bit different in the present. So you almost have to kind of take that as your justice on the front end. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily feel like, your experiences don't matter, favorable or unfavorable as they may have been. But it just means that that's how you kind of lighten the load, pack light a bit, that you're not feeling entitled to any type of, you're not weighed down by the expectation of vengeance in some regard to actually perceive it and conceive it as such, when vengeance is, already unto the spirit, because whatever was set in order was to bring you here in the first place, to whatever was even allowed, I'll say, was done so for your good, your highest good. If you can assert yourself to that belief proactively, it kind of softens the blow for anything that might incite a negative reactive response, whether it be in spirit or in truth, to feel some type of way or to actually say some type of thing or do some type of thing. It's like you're already justified. You're here, you're healed, you have options, you're moving. Look at this, moving forward, and I'm gonna leave it there. Moving ahead to more peaceful and calmer waters, mastering your master of your emotional energetic force, not consumed by it. These are the justices that you would even be able to sustain such a revelation and an energetic influx as the Eight of Wands, and to be able to carry such a great responsibility on your back, and to carry it with grace. I mean, the King of Wands is the finest king in the deck. Like, not only it's like that saying, like, you don't look like what you've been through. You look much better than anyone that could have, that could have had anything better than what you've been through. I'm struggling to say it the way that I feel it, but it's like, it's not just like you don't look like what you've been through, like you look mighty good for your story. It's like you look damn good, to say the least. It's like you're almost unscathed by way of the dissonance of your actual experience, especially on site, and maybe even particularly by way of what you've been able to create and manifest despite your disturbances, or the disturbances in your life, or distractions, or disruptions to what you felt should have been the natural current of your creativity. It's like all of that, and not only are you still standing, but you're looking like a snack, with the King of Wands, and you're emotionally intelligent, secure, stable, eager, open to love. Not many can say that they've had an experience in certain ways that would still render them to have that type of characteristic, that they would be preserved in that way, particularly when we're talking about love. Most people that have been hurt find it hard to open up to love at all, let alone in any healthy way. So, and this is here saying that not only all of that, strike all that, but not really, but you are not just attractive and loving and, compassionate and ambitious and all that good stuff. Like, you're just generally the star. Like, you are at the top of whatever it is that you do. Like, you do it the best. You know what I mean? It's like you have the potential and the quality of a life force that is completely unmatched by any other being on this planet. That's what you bring to this realm. Despite all, in spite all, maybe in some ways because of all, this is what has been afforded in your essence to in ways that maybe wouldn't have been able to shine through otherwise. Had you not have gone through dark moments, had you not have been, had not felt burdened or disenfranchised or thrown into the thralls of competition and chaos without your intention to be so. Had you not felt imbalanced, perhaps even materially so, with the Two of Pentacles. Had you not felt like you just didn't know what to do next, or that you've always been waiting for something more in order to move ahead, or there was always something hidden and undiscovered about you or about your life experience. Like, that is perhaps what actually pushed you along in this journey with the Eight of Cups, to find your what's the word, effervescent light. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Yeah, that word, effervescent light, here with the Star card, that one that shines brilliantly, and now, having found that energy, it's been polished by the truth of not only what it was not, but all that it truly is, like really being affirmed, confirmed as the star that you are, and taking that energy and moving on with your life accordingly, and whatever your future is destined to be. That's what the Six of Swords is giving me. Whatever it is balanced. It's infinitely promising, because you just never know what is available to you on that other side of a peaceful, calmer shore. But it's most certainly destined, for sure. Like, you're headed in the right direction nonetheless. Even through all the detours that you think you incurred, you were actually moving in the way of destiny all along. So the best that you can really do for yourself, oh wow, the Sun card, is to give thanks. This is the productivity, the prosperity, this is where this is leading. You can't see it now in the Six of Swords because you're still in transition. And it looks a bit gray over there. It's like gray area. You don't really know what you're walking into. and the only thing that could distract you from fully inhabiting that new land, that promised land of sorts, is the distortion of what you're leaving behind, not seeing it for the truth of what it is, which is just what it is. Like, literally, if it is what it is was a message type of vibe, just accepting it for what it has been, and having grace and gratitude for where it has guided you to and where it's undoubtedly leading you, So that's the Sun card, which I don't need to go in on. And yes, like, you got the Seven of Swords, like I was just saying, like, the only thing that can really still kill and destroy that inhabitants is you being in alignment with the illusion that you're leaving behind. That's it. That's the only thing that can kill it. You're already on your way. It's already destined for you to go wherever it is you're going. And the illusion itself, the determination for destruction, is for you to see this revelation as anything more than forwarding, to see it as some, and the funny thing is like, whatever is being revealed more or less has already been past. It's like it's already past tense. So it, in fact, it most certainly is an illusion to think that it has any impression on the future, because even in the present, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it doesn't matter to the point of a detriment to your present, especially when you have a gratitude for where you truly are in this moment. So that is the illusionary projection that an adverse energy would want to make to distract you from moving forward, in that exuberance of a promising and prosperous future, to make you feel like, if it wasn't for this, I could have been that, or I could have been there sooner, or I could have done this, or I could, like, all these I could have, I would have, I should have type of vibes. Like, that's the trick. That's trickster energy that you don't want to involve yourself in, to send you on a spiral to feel like someone else held more, or something or some place even held more control over your destiny than you did yourself. The fact of the matter is, nothing could have controlled it more than the supreme source and force that you ultimately submit and surrender to. And anything that thought that it was really just playing itself, leading itself to its own demise, as with the Seven of Swords card does. It thinks it's getting away with something, but in fact, it, like I said, with our own energy, wherever you go, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever an energy like this goes, there it is, meaning that it will meet the same vibration that it thought it just got away with, that it thought it just imposed on whatever it's leaving behind. It never wins in the end. So the only way that it gets to win over you, in the intention to do so, whether this be a person, place, a thing, an idea, an understanding, the revelation itself, is if you allow it to steal really your joy from you, but allow it to even impress upon you that it has stolen anything from you, including time, energy, material, thought, otherwise, is only been under the control of what the divine ordinance was in the first place, which we've already decided and determined was to illuminate you as the star that you are. So gratitude for everything, everyone, every place that has co-created that reality. And it's time to move forward accordingly. It is so, and so it is. All right, so I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. And I will talk to you next time. Maybe tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, but if not, for sure on Monday. And until then, as always, I leave you with peace.